comedy, pop culture, and everything in between. By idiots, for idiots. Welcome, sinners. This is Sports Idiot Nation.
Welcome in. It is your weekly dose of a Thursday episode of Sports Idiot Nation. Familiar face, it is I with T.I. and from a previous episode labeled Talk To Me. I think, right, T.I.? Dude,
no,
I don't
sing
know.
to me. Sing to me.
Sing to me.
Yeah.
Sing. This one will be called Talk To Me, maybe.
Yeah.
Sure. Sounds
But,
good.
uh,
What's up, guys?
Talk to me.
Yeah, Josh,
again.
what up, man?
Talk
Thanks
to me
for
again.
hanging out again with us on a Thursday. You got some new stuff going on. So first I want to get into that and ask you, with your new project that you have going on as you explain it, give me the story of how it came about, because it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So since last time we've talked, I started a podcast with former Megadeth bass player David Ellefson. David has been on the podcast a ton over the years. And, you know, it's one of those weird times where I have one of my heroes' phone numbers like in my phone kind of deal.
Crazy,
and you know, we've done some stuff, you know, we've done some live podcasting before and just kind of kept in touch over the years. And David's one of those dudes that'll go on a podcast and he's always been like a must listen. If I see he's guesting on a friend of mine's podcast, or even if I just see a random podcast pop up, I'll listen to it because he's got great stories. And he was there for the birth of thrash. I mean, he was there for the birth of Metallica and Megadeth and all that stuff. So just a wealth of knowledge and a good storyteller. And I did a podcast with him back in January, and I'd kind of been wanting to hit him up with this idea for a podcast for a while. And I just didn't really have the proper time to do it. And we were on the podcast for like an hour and a half, and then we talked for another half hour, like, you know, with the cameras off or whatever. And I just kind of hit him. I was like, hey man, have you ever thought about making, you know, doing your own podcast? I was like, you know, you go on all these other podcasts, they get the, you know, blabbermouth headlines. They get all the glory from your stories, man. Let's do your own podcast. He kind of sat there for a second and he's like, and he just goes, I'm in. He's like, let's do it. And he had like one thing kind of coming up that he had to take care of. And then he's like, once I get done with going to NAMM, let's get this together. And I was like, all right, cool. And so I was like, kind of put it on the back burner for a second. And he immediately just started hitting me like 5 text messages, 3 phone calls, 4 emails a day, like with all these ideas, like we should do this, we should do that, we should have guests, we should have this guy on the podcast. What do you think about that? Like he was all in. Like he kind of, and it's kind of been refreshing because I've been a solo podcaster for so long that having someone that is as passionate about it kind of come into the fold and want to do something like this was very refreshing. So it's been a lot of fun, man. It's been a lot of fun, not only talking to him off the record, on the record, interviewing dudes like Frank Bello from Anthrax and Dave Lombardo from Slayer. I mean, these are all guys that I grew up, you know, with posters on the wall. And it's like how we are now, you know, the 3 boxes. You got me, and then you've got dude from Megadeth and dude from Slayer talking about the old days. And I'm like, why am I here? Like, what's going on here? Why is the weird guy up here in the corner, man? But it's been a blast putting these episodes together.
Holy cow. Yeah, T.I., what do you say to that even? I got nothing.
I just think it's funny you refer to yourself as a weird guy in the corner when you're boxing between 2 metalheads, you know.
Right, man. But, it's crazy, man.
No, I mean I'm with Toomey there because, like I said, I've kind of joked on this podcast before. I was kind of raised in the age of gangster rap and hair metal, you know, and that's really where I fell. It was like if I wasn't listening to NWA, it was like I was listening to Motley Crue, I was listening to Megadeth, I was listening to Metallica. So I mean, just to know that you're entrenched kind of in the middle of all this, of people that you grew up idolizing and listening to, is just an amazing story in itself. But to happen to folks we know and to good people, I mean, that's the way the world works. For the majority of the time, good things happen to good people. Every now and then good things happen to assholes. But, you know, in this situation,
right?
Good thing happens to good people. But yeah, I mean, you know, just the stories that he can tell alone. I mean, now you doing a podcast with him, of course, if you interview him and you're on a podcast, it's like, yeah, you're going to get some stories. But now that you're working alongside him, you're going to hear some stories that, you know, you probably would have never
heard I've heard all of the dirt already. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy too, Ti growing up in Nashville. I mean, it was funny. We talked about this back in January, and then one of those flyers went around of like, this happened 30 years ago today. And it was 30 years ago to the day where I saw Megadeth at Municipal Auditorium. I met Dave Ellefson for the first time as a kid. I was 14, 15 years old. And so it was just funny how the world works. And if you would have told that kid back in 94, 95, that 30 years from now, you're going to be, BFFs with this guy, I'd be like, kill me now kind of thing. I mean, in my freshman photo and my freshman high school photo, I'm wearing a Megadeth shirt. Like it's full circle, man. It's wild.
Yeah,
that's cool, man.
Super crazy.
Back in the day, high school band shirts, man. I had one every day. It was like a different one, I remember I always wore this Jimi Hendrix shirt, and I remember this kid came up to me and he was like, "Dude, love your Snoop Dogg shirt." I mean, it kind of looked like Snoop Dogg a little bit, and I gave him that, He was a little younger. He was trying to look cool, but I'll give him that, But
yeah.
So
back and hit the mall up, hit up Sam Goody, get you a band tee.
Sam Goody.
Mm-hmm.
Get your CDs.
Always good time.
When they first came out. All right, I got a bone to pick, and
right.
you may know this is coming from your social media. So I can't remember. You may remember from the episode that you were hanging out with us before that I made fun of myself for liking one of my favorite bands of all time is Collective Soul, and so this was now weeks ago, but you posted basically the tour that no one needs or like nobody asked for. And also, I will admit, I think Live is a very fine band. Throwing Copper was I thought until I met you, I thought it was a good album. I thought, but so you post this and
your opinion doesn't matter.
I was about to make sure you get hammered for it, and I look at the comments and they're all hammering you. It was
about 50-50. I will give you, but it's funny, and I will say this in my defense, it was more throwing shade at Live, and Collective Soul just kind of got some they just kind of got some debris for that. But it's truly like I've never understood Live. Like I never understood the why anybody would like that band. But Collective Soul over the years, it's just one of those bands that just like if they're on the radio, I got to change the channel. Like it's just not my thing. Adam, if it's your thing, turn it up, have a good time. Dude. But yeah, for me, man, Collective Soul's been one of those bands. I'm just like I don't know, man. I can't get into it.
I totally feel you on the Collective Soul front. I've had a little bit of trouble always trying to grasp what's going on there, But Live, I will say, I did see Live. Ooh, worked on that one for weeks. Saw Live many moons ago. I wasn't even old enough to drive. My friend's older sister took me and him with her to go to, I think at Vanderbilt, I want to say it was like Live and Sponge and Hum or something like that. I don't know.
Jake Cutler hanging out.
I don't know. By the way, for our YouTube viewers at home, if you see me kind of panning around, there's a couple wasps that are angry because I disturbed them. So if you kind of see me like swatting, I'm not on LSD or anything. There really is something there. But anyway.
Not yet. It hasn't kicked in.
I did see Live in concert. I thought it was a cool concert, but it was also, the first concert going alone, like having somebody's older sister bring us, thinking we're real cool, but it was a weird concert. I remember the Sponge was like, I think it was Sponge was like singing in the megaphone or something, and I was just like, I don't know.
Well,
it's just like it's not really.
Adam, in my defense, I believe one of the funnier comments on the entire thread was from Sports Idiot Nation or Titans Idiot Nation. I can't remember which Idiot Nation it was, but it was the Dentist is Ready to See You tour, and I was just like, to see. And honestly, if you know me, I'm poking fun. Like I'm just, having a good time. Like one dude came in like, you shouldn't bash what you hate. And I'm like, well, this isn't this isn't bashing what I hate. This is just quote unquote taking the piss out of something or something. It's just having a good time.
Yeah.
How dare you have a negative opinion about something you dislike?
I know, right?
Well,
it's weird,
You shouldn't bash what you hate. Well, I'm not going to bash what I love, you dummy.
Right.
Yeah. How dare you talk
What's
bad
funny
about
is-
something that you're not a fan of?
It's funny because
Sure.
honestly, I will say in my defense, I was actually taken aback by how many people were like, Collective Soul is a great band, man. And I'm like, what? Who are these people? I was like, this is how I clear out my friends list on Facebook.
They're those people that also chime in and is like, you got to listen to more than the singles.
Yeah.
That's what I always hear.
Dude, the third album, man, you got to hit that deep cut.
Yeah, Collective Soul. That was me that made that comment. That was definitely me. It was Sports Idiot Nation. But it reminded me of a previous joke. I kind of stole it from a joke I used many years ago. But back when Sheryl Crow was downtown on New Year's, doing the New Year's Eve celebration, everybody was like, "Oh, Sheryl Crow," and I was like, "Yeah, Sheryl Crow is here to perform all your favorite hits from the dentist's office." So I just kind of carried that over, because there's just certain bands that just fit. Maroon 5 is one of those. Like there's just dentist office bands, and Collective Soul kind of falls into that category a little bit.
They kind of do. That is fair.
Evanescence, probably. There's just like certain bands that
go through Better Than Ezra.
I mean, maybe not Evanescence.
And then Ezra.
They're a little more rock, but they were still on that Better Than Ezra. Hey, there you go.
I was at the getting my oil changed the other day, and the manager's name was Ezra, and we got into it a little bit about something, and I kept looking at his name tag. And I was like, dude, you're better than this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I just laughed myself back into not being mad at him anymore. But
I thought you were going to say that he started arguing with you and you just got fumigated and you almost gave it back to him, but then you got in your car and drove off and you told yourself, you're like, I'm better than Ezra.
Right. I should have done that too, but yeah.
That's right. Now you see why we had Josh on the show, so we could tell Better Than Ezra puns.
Yeah,
right.
Very punny. So,
but that time frame, there are a lot of those bands. Eve 6.
Oh yeah, all those bands are coming back around again. It's going to be a good tour, all the casinos around the country are going to have a great night out of their Collective Soul live.
That's right. They get a Tuesday night. They don't get a Friday night. They get a Tuesday night.
Pre-SEO, man, the live has to there's no way you can find anything about the band live online. Talk about some of the worst Google searches ever.
Yeah.
Live.
Yeah, live band. It's why is there 75 million searches that are related to nothing I'm looking for?
So then let me ask you about this, Josh. Where do you fall on the Creed and Nickelback resurgence?
I think it's right there with the Collective Soul Live fans, but I don't know if it's everybody's just in on a bad joke or something. We all just took it too far and now they're selling out arenas again, and it's one of those things where you get to the show and you're like, man, we're gonna have a blast. We're gonna go drink some beers with our bros and watch some Creed, and then you're there, you're like, oh man, this is just a inside joke that went too far. It just that's what it just feels like, man.
Why did we pay money for these tickets?
It has grown into something bigger than it intended. It's taken on a mind of its own, the meme of its own. It's taken on a meme of its own at this point for sure. But it is weird to me how stuff like that all of a sudden makes this corny comeback and then becomes perfectly acceptable into pop culture again. It's
right.
How did we clown on something for 20 straight years and then now all of a sudden it's cool again to sing Arms Wide Open at karaoke, dressed like Nicolas Cage from Con Air, Anyway.
Yeah, it's a weird phenomenon.
Isn't his name Scott Stapp?
Yeah,
I
Scott
can't even remember
Stapp.
his name, but I know he looked like Nicolas
and Chad
Cage
Krieger.
Con Air,
Is Nickelback.
Chad Krieger.
Yeah.
Nickelback.
I will say it's a fun. It's a weird thing for a lot of people. I don't want to be like that guy. Obviously, coming onto your show and your fans are like, "Oh, this guy's just being like a metal gatekeeper or something like that." But no, go have your fun at your shows.
We still love you.
No.
You guys are a bunch of posers, man. Because
Screw
I'll
you
go
guys,
see
man.
because I've been dealing with that forever. When I was like, Limp Bizkit's always been a good band, and then everybody's like, what are you talking about, man? They're not true metal like Slayer, man. So just try to have a good time,
Speaking of, what about those Metallica shows coming up? You're going to one of them, right?
I've thought about it. I mean, it's a nice little drive down there, but man, it would be cool to see them at Nissan Stadium, Nissan Coliseum.
I always forget, man. This is like the 79th time I forget that you are in Kentucky. I always think you're in Nashville.
Oh, technically I'm in Indiana, but
oh, that's right.
I don't claim Kentucky anymore. I always used to say I live in Louisville, but now I'm like, nah, I'm in.
Yeah, that's kind of where that come into play, but.
He's a Hoosier like me.
My brother and I got tickets for the Limp Bizkit one,
Nice.
So looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, Limp Bizkit, Metallica. My brother got, it's kind of my birthday present. My birthday's the 5th, shows on the 3rd. So,
hey, birthdays were the worst days. Now we go to Limp Bizkit when we thirsty.
That's right.
Yeah, the only time I've seen, I think the only concert I've ever seen at Nissan Stadium was I took my daughter to see One Direction back in the day. So.
Oh, God.
I saw the Rolling Stones. I was up in the nosebleeds, but guy I worked with randomly, he started working, and I trained him a little bit, and then a couple days later, he was like, "Hey, man, my wife was going to the concert with me, but she can't go. She's not feeling well. You want to go to the Rolling Stones?" I was like, "Well, shit, yeah." I would have liked to have seen him like 20 years prior, but it was still a good show.
I saw Jimmy G throw an interception in the end zone because George Kittle was blanketed by 3 Tennessee Titans.
Jimmy G wouldn't do that.
So, all right. Speaking of football a little bit, let's shift gears because all day long, Josh
these guys right here
has to talk music, and I know he probably wants to talk a little foosball because it's from the devil.
I thought he wanted to talk Collective Soul for about 3 more hours. Is what I thought.
Leave.
Give me like if it was like the Live and the Toadies, I might go, but Collective
Toadies.
I love how everyone that came for you in the comments, I do agree with that when they said, "No, man, Collective Soul puts on a good show." Like, they are, if they played the music that you would enjoy, you would think that they put on a good show. As far as there are certain bands that are showmen a little bit better than others, and I will say that, like, if they did a cover of a song that you like, they would, I think, are you not entertained? You would be entertained. They are that good as far as that goes. I'll give them that for sure. Whether the music, that's an opinion. You could totally not like it. Like, you know what I mean? I get that. But
and again, I was more throwing shade at Live than Collective Soul. They just happen to be on the same tour.
Collective Soul, Collateral Damage.
Yeah, they're just catching strays as their new album.
Yeah,
they shouldn't. Collective Soul shouldn't have been dressed like that.
So now I get to bash on you guys, the Titan fans. The most garbage franchise.
Hey,
so
at least we have actual players on our roster right now.
We're not letting all of our players go so that we can sign Brock Purdy to a $300 million deal.
Yeah, your backup running back even was like, got traded to Minnesota.
Exactly. Even our backups are leaving.
Which
we have
it
like
was
97
very shocking.
Picks.
Very shocking because that kid looks pretty good. So I don't know. I guess you're banking on Christian McCaffrey getting a new,
I'm not
T1000
on
endoskeleton to be indestructible.
I'm banking on a rebuild is what I'm doing. And
all right, anyway, we're clowning on your team. You said you want to clown on our team.
I'm trying to clown on you guys.
Go ahead.
So I'm curious, what's been your take, Josh, of this whirlwind of from Sam Darnold to, just the Bengals paying $9 jillion to just 2 players, and now they can't field a team either. And just your Titans, like NFL, I feel like every year we may say this offseason's been crazy, but literally every offseason is crazy.
It's crazy, dude. Crazy, man.
I think it might have been T.I. posted that the other day that so many people that I've never heard of in the league are getting these insane contracts. And I was just like, and I don't know if it's my apathy towards the Titans that has kind of like drawn me back from loving the entire NFL, because growing up, I could have told you every player, and I'm like, oh yeah, that guy deserves that, or oh my god, they overpaid that guy. And now I'm like, I have no idea who that is. Like there's like players that are just getting these massive contracts on other teams, and I'm like, I guess he's good. I don't know, but yeah, it's this. What's funny is like last offseason, like the Titans were like, oh, we're gonna sign this guy and that guy and trade for L'Jarius Sneed, and we're gonna get Calvin Ridley, and we're gonna get the best center on the market, and just like. And we did the thing where we spent $250 million on all these free agents to go 3-14. And so like this year, I'm like, all right, well, we're kind of doing the opposite. We're just, we're going to kind of lay back and actually maybe draft a team. I do like that they seem to be signing players that have, that are healthy, that tend to play, 16, 17 games a year, rather than taking a risk on some injured players, stuff like that. So I'm kind of in a wait and see. I'm definitely in I don't know how they got here. I mean, obviously everybody knows how they got here, but it's just like, what the hell happened? Like a couple of years ago, this was, we left that plane trip on that Thursday night from Green Bay thinking like we were about to be a dynasty. And ever since then, it's just been like, what the hell's going on around here?
Todd Downing.
Damn, you and your DUI.
You guys had a number one seed, I thought, in the playoffs.
I know.
Right?
We did. We also have a number one seed in the upcoming draft.
So, all right, what's the talk of the town then, you guys? There's no chance they're trading that pick?
I mean, there's always a chance. I mean, but I think the offseason moves indicate to me that they're prepared to go one of two ways. They're prepared to go with, the dude from Penn State, or they're prepared to go with Cam Ward, because they've beefed up the O-line. They haven't brought in a vet quarterback. They let Landry walk. So it's like, at this point, to me, it's like either Abdul Carter or Cam Ward. I don't see Sanders sneaking in there. I wouldn't be surprised to see Sanders drop to like late 20s. I could be completely wrong, but I guess it depends on what happens with Rodgers too, like all of that comes into play, But I with the Titans, it's either Carter or Cam Ward. I think from my perspective, I would be surprised if it was somebody other. A long time ago, I would have said Travis Hunter, but I think the whole thing shifted a little bit.
See, I don't even see Abdul Carter anymore. I think if they would have signed a Darnold or any of the quarterbacks out there, even if they were like could have been a bridge quarterback or whatever, then I think they could have gone Abdul Carter. But I think that now that they've signed Brandon Allen, whoever that is, as the quarterback on the roster, I think they'll trade Levis by the draft. Honestly, I think he'll be like probably a draft day trade or something. I don't see him making it past the draft. But yeah, I could see like a Cam Ward trade Levis for a 6th round, 7th round pick and move on with life.
So I can tell you who Brandon Allen is, because he played in Nissan Stadium as the 49ers backup in preseason.
Yep.
So that's who he is, just so you know.
Yeah.
And he's
go back
terrible.
and watch that tape.
Yeah, he's not very good. It's all these 1-year contracts they're dishing out too. It's like Oprah Winfrey. They're just Oprah. You get a 1 year, you get a 1 year, you get a 1 year. We're definitely, looking at the rebuild, staring right in the face. We've got the number 1 pick. We're probably going to have a top 5 pick next year too. I think this is all part of the plan. Unfortunately, I know Titans fans want us to just flip it around and go to the Super Bowl, but come on, let's be realistic. Like, we might be looking at top 15 picks for the next 3 years,
To break in the new stadium, huh?
Yeah, why not, man? Get all these new players, young rookie contracts, get them producing, get that LA Rams type Super Bowl, and then become mediocre for a few more years until you sign Devontae Adams.
Well, it's that's just that whole we'll suck for a couple of years as the Tennessee Oilers, and then we move into the new stadium and be the Tennessee Titans, and then go to the Super Bowl. So I'd be like, I would love that trajectory there. The one thing that I think is funny about Titans fans and like Titans radio and all the Nashville shows is, last year we're like, if Will Levis is a dude, man, we're winning the AFC South. We're going to go on a playoff run and blah, blah, blah. And then like Will Levis wasn't the dude. So now it's like, well, why do we want to draft a quarterback? We don't have anybody for the line. Well, why would we want to draft a wide receiver? We don't have anybody to throw to him. I'm just like, it's like high and low, man. I'm like, maybe we're a couple players away. I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm optimistic that we won't be garbage this year. But it's funny how quickly things can change with the fan base.
I mean, the Titans fans, and I'm sure it's most football fans, but yeah, you're right. Titans fans are just like, hey, I think we should draft this player who is the top player at their respective position, and it's one of our positions of need. But it's not our top position. So why in the world would we do this? And it's like, okay, well, this person is arguably the best player in the draft. Yeah, but we don't need them, And it's like there are teams that operate with the best player on the board, and there are teams that operate with needed positions. And the Titans are not one of those best player on the board. Franchises that historically draft well, perennially in the playoffs, have solid backups are usually the ones that take the best player on the board. And I just can't seem to get Titans fans' head wrapped around that, But it's like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen National Lampoon's, was it Vegas Vacation, where Clark is like plugging the hole, and the dam, and it's like, okay. Oh, and then there's another one, and it's like, that's Titans fans. They're like, well, no, we have to fix this. And it's like, okay, well, this over here is messed up too. Well, we'll fix that after we address this, and this doesn't work out. So we move over to here, and it's like, it's just a complete cycle.
Like whack-a-mole.
Of like trying to fix the same things. And it's like, why is it not working? It's like, probably because you keep trying to do the same thing for 30 straight years, 45 years, whatever.
Well, we'll see how they mess it up this year. Josh, I want to get you out of here on this question. Reminder, though, first to catch Sports Edit Nation wherever you get your social media. The printable link is in the show notes to get cool things like this. Josh, give us the deets on where we can follow you. And then I want to leave you with this. There's got to be a story that comes top of mind with the new show that you've been working on that you just thought, oh my gosh, as it was happening, you're like, I can't believe I'm being told this story. Like there has to be, give us a little nugget.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give you that first, actually, because it pops right to my mind. The first episode we did was Frank Bello from Anthrax. Frank Bello is the bass player of Anthrax. Then you got David Ellefson of Anthrax, and then you got me, also a bass player. So we're sitting there, and Frank has a new bass out, so David asked him to have it ready to kind of go. So he's holding the bass. So David asked him, how do you play this certain Anthrax song? And so Frank starts to play it. So then Ellefson grabs a bass. He starts playing it. And then I'm like, well, hell, so I grab my bass, and I'm like, I'm playing it too. And then Adam grabs his bass, and he's playing it now too. So it's just like, it's another one of those times where like, what is going on right now? Yeah, it was Anthrax's Room for One More. And so, yeah. So Frank is showing it to David, and I'm like picking it up too. I'm just like, this is bizarro world right now that I'm living in. So yeah, awesome. So if you want to check out that show, it's on the David Ellefson YouTube page, or just wherever you get your podcast, the David Ellefson Show. And then, yeah, you can follow me anywhere at Talk To Me Talk on pretty much everything, at Joshua.Toomey on Instagram. So yeah, just come check me out, hang out, all that good stuff. And you can always find me, Sundays at noon, 1 o'clock, pouting on the couch because my team sucks and stuff.
Sports, comedy, pop culture, and everything in between. By idiots, for idiots. Welcome, sinners.
I don't know what to do on
This
Sundays now.
is Sports Idiot Nation.
Get this guy a shirt. Your team sucks.
Yeah, that's right. I'll get one of these. The Battle of the AFC South. Shirt. Yeah, it's. I wish we could actually compete in the AFC South. This shirt would be relevant. People would buy it, but
alas, they will not.
My friend Joe did the artwork. He's awesome. He's a comic book he's an illustrator and artist, but he lives in Ecuador. He's
what was the shirt I bought that I said needs to be a shirt, and you made it into a shirt. The just because we suck doesn't mean we're soft or something like that. Yeah, the Callahan. Just because we don't win football games doesn't mean we're soft. Like, technically it does.
Yeah, I'm like,
technically it does. It's like the exact definition, but
that dude, man. This is a ride, man. We are on a ride.
That's right, man. We're on some kind of ride. It's
The ride that is Sports Idiot Nation. Again, be sure to follow wherever you get your social media and all of the idiot verse, right? That TI helps.
That's right.
Manage
Nature Trail to Hell. That's what we're on. That's what we're on, Josh. Old Weird Al song, Nature Trail to Hell.
I'll have to check that one out.
It's good. It's a Weird Al original.
Come hang out again, Josh, dude, anytime.
Absolutely.
Thanks for hanging. We will see you guys Monday. Okay, all you sinners, follow Sports Idiot Nation on TikTok, X, and Instagram. Like us on Facebook, and remember, the most fun way to watch us is on YouTube every Monday and Thursday. Be sure to hit the notification bell so you can be updated when new content drops. Remember, the podcast can also be found on the usual suspects of Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Always remember, don't be an idiot.
Sinner.